What is up guys, Eric here bringing you another movie review, this time for the new Seth MacFarlane film, Ted 2. Ted 2 is the sequel to the first Ted movie, which was Seth MacFarlane's directorial debut on the big screen. This is now his third film, his second being A Million Ways to Die in the West, which was not a very good movie, but luckily this movie maybe redeemed just a little bit of that for him. Ted 2 stars Mark Wahlberg, Seth MacFarlane as the voice of Ted, and Amanda Seyfried. Now the general storyline of Ted 2 is basically Ted gets a letter in the mail that says he's not a person anymore. His marriage is annulled, he loses basically everything he owns in the world. Now Amanda Seyfried plays their lawyer who is there to kind of fight for his human rights to get him the right to be a person, even though he's just a teddy bear that can talk. Mark Wahlberg, of course, is Ted's best friend John, who is pretty much the same character he was in the first one. Now, Ted 2 wasn't the best movie I've ever seen. I wasn't laughing super hard throughout this whole movie. It wasn't quite as good as the first one. For reference, I probably would have given Ted 1 probably a B, and this one was just not quite as funny. It didn't have that same kind of spark the first one did. The first Ted movie I did enjoy quite a bit. It was a really strange concept that had never really been done before, and it was funny. It was genuinely funny. I laughed pretty hard throughout that movie. This movie, though, when it starts off, Mila Kunis isn't in this one, so they had to add kind of this sappy, not necessary and kind of weird backstory for John that they got divorced and stuff, and you find that out in the first like 5 minutes, so I'm not spoiling anything, but it's just kind of, they add this extra backstory that's sort of unnecessary, and the whole beginning of the movie just felt kind of awkward to me. It didn't feel like it was flowing together very well. The first two acts of this movie were pretty slow for me. I didn't really get into them that much. I didn't laugh that hard at all through the first two acts. It wasn't until the third act where a very interesting setting is put into place as to where the finale of the movie sort of takes place, and that part was really funny to me. That to me was by far the highlight of this film. It captured what that first one had, and it did it very well, and the beginning of it just was real slow to me. Now, I don't mean to talk down to this movie. I did not hate Ted 2. It was a decent movie. The acting in it was good. Amanda Seyfried was funny. Of course, Mark Wahlberg knocked out of the park in this role. He's basically playing Mark Wahlberg in this role, though. And then Seth MacFarlane was funny as Ted, even though he's just doing one of his funny voices as an animated character. But maybe that's what he should stick to with how A Million Ways to Die in the West went. Now, as a director, this movie had some not that great moments from a directing standpoint. Some of the sequences that were supposed to be more action-like had real bad, like, off-kilter camera in them, and I did not really care for it. But overall, the direction was good. The script was pretty funny. The performances were good, though. The script was really the main gripe I have with the film. The beginning of it was very slow. I didn't have a real laugh until probably a half hour into this movie, maybe 45 minutes, before I had a real, like, laugh. I had quite a few little, like, haha, like, that's kind of funny, but I didn't really have one of those big, you know, like, belly laughs for a while until this movie got going. Now, that's not a huge issue if the movie you're watching isn't supposed to be a full-on comedy, but this movie is, so it was a little disappointing that it took that long to really get on its feet and get some real good jokes out there to me. Keep in mind, in the theater, a lot of the people around me were laughing at some of the jokes that I just didn't think were funny. I felt like they were lowbrow, they weren't very clever, they were just kind of dumb jokes they were throwing out, and people were laughing at them, which is fine. If you enjoy that type of comedy, that's perfectly fine. That's your opinion of comedy. I personally don't care for some of those jokes. Some of them completely flew past me just kind of being like, really, that's the joke you're gonna write, Seth MacFarlane? I know you're funnier than that. Overall, Ted 2 was okay. I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. I thought the performances were good. I thought the direction was pretty good. There were a few moments that were a little off, and I thought that the script was pretty weak. The beginning of the script was not very funny to me. It got stronger as the movie went on, which is good, but it just wasn't strong enough the whole time to really be one of those great comedies. I'm gonna give Ted 2 a C. This wasn't the greatest movie I've seen in theaters, but it also wasn't the worst movie I've seen in theaters this year. It wasn't amazing. If you want a fun comedy to go see with your friends, to kind of just chill in the theater, you have a few laughs, and then probably forget about it in a week or two, go see Ted 2. Otherwise, I'd recommend going and seeing Inside Out, because Inside Out was much more clever, much more heartwarming, had a lot more panache to the script. But that's just me. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Ted 2, and check out everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and I hope to see you guys later.